Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to another year. It's amazing. 2024 ripped by in this blazing bullet of progress and new flight sim technology. And now we sit on the precipice of new adventures, new challenges, new fears. But I'm grateful to be sitting here, converting oxygen to carbon dioxide, and catching up with all of you. Flight sim has been something which I've done in my life for a long time, and it continues to be something that I enjoy and appreciate. I'm also daring to push the limits of what might be possible with flight sim, and there's no time like the present to get started doing the deal. I'm grateful for all of you that tune in, all of you that lurk, and all of you that support the channel. And I'm hoping to bring some new things to bear on this year. But it doesn't happen with some good old-fashioned elbow grease. And thanks to the encouragement of friends like Nick Gressla, Eric Flight, and so many others, I'm back here for another run. If you find yourself looking at today and wondering what this year is going to bring, or wondering whether or not you're going to have the oomph to get it done, believe me, you're not alone. Life can be scary, unpredictable, and crazy sometimes, but that's the thing about life. It's there to be lived. And as scary and as weird and as confusing as it gets, I'm happy to be sitting down one more time and sharing my time with all of you. My hope is to make this channel more interesting, more encouraging, and maybe just a touch more exciting. So, find your seats, make sure your tray tables are in the upright positions, fasten your seatbelts, and get ready for another year of Digi Driver on stream on Twitch. Thank you for being here. And thanks for joining me. Welcome to the stream. It's me, Digi. I just felt like giving it some flourish to kick off the year, and I wasn't expecting to be on, but I kind of felt motivated and inspired to get started today. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be flying for a long time, but I feel like just going ahead and doing something interesting today. So we're going to hop back into FS 2020, and we're going to go and probably do a flight in an airliner, and dare I say it, potentially do a little bit of blender work while we are in flight. And welcome aboard, of course, to my friends Nick Gressla and Kev Mikwa. Embarrassed to admit I'd never seen the 2020 hype vid. No need to worry, friend. I drank enough Kool-Aid for the both of us. Now, folks, if you're looking in chat or if you're watching this on the replay and you have no idea who Nick Gressla or Kev Mikwa are, they're friends of the channel. They also stream, and they're part of the flight sim community on Twitch. So feel free to take a look at both of them. Nick does lots of airliner content. Great thing to have if you like to tune in and listen to nice, soothing airliner sounds as Nick does flights from place to place. And my friend Kev Mikwa, whom I affectionately call Kev, likes to do a lot of cargo flights in X-Plane. So feel free to follow one or both of them. They come highly Digi approved, and they are friends of the channel. So, folks, thanks so much for showing up today. I feel like doing a flight. You're both very welcome, friends. Let's go ahead and configure ourselves for flight. I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything even remotely like ultra to the nines serious. So I'm gonna go ahead and flex what I can and have some fun with some flights. I've been like focused almost exclusively on East Coast flights for the past, I don't know, several times I flew on stream. So I'm either going to go West Coast or I'm going to go to the Caribbean. And it's like an odd toss up, but I'm going to try to see what I can do. Let me dig into my past. There was a flight that I did once upon a time. Oh, wrong one. There was a flight I did once upon a time in a 757 in FSX. Back in the days when you were actually able to fly the Just Flight Freemium 757. And I flew from Jackson to Dallas Fort Worth. Fun with flights. It's like fun with flags, but different. Nice. Well played, Fred. Well played. So let's try this. Let's see how long it takes. I'm just in the planning stages right now. I haven't even confirmed what my flight's going to be. And no, we're not going to take the Cirrus. If I took the... If I took the 788, it would have to be almost ridiculously light to make the flight from Jackson Hole to Dallas. But I am kind of curious, so play with me for a little bit, and I'm going to see whether or not I can actually do something. All right. Got both my pets with me. One of the cats does not like the wind whipping through this area, so I might have to temporarily step away from the cockpit just to make sure she's taken care of. I have not flown the Kuro Mod 787 in a long time, or at least long enough for me to forget. So I'm curious, and I'm a little bit adventurous. I wonder if I should try flying from Jackson Hole to Calgary. I don't know. Let me just try this one for a start. November 800 Alpha November. And it's gonna be a heavy. Okay, what? DLE errors, with Vulcan. I remember I used, on occasion, I would get problems with Vulcan that would crash my sim and explain. I'm fortunate that hasn't happened to me lately, but I don't know. We'll be taking off to the south in Jackson Hole and arriving to the north in Dallas Fort Worth. So let's see. Device loss errors. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Let me double check. I'm going to send it to SimBrief and see if we can get a flight going, guys. Sit tight. Reinstall the graphics driver as well. Reset the X-Plane settings. Okay. Yeah, I know I used to have issues with my graphics driver once in a while, so I have a 3060 Ti, so I switched from the game ready driver to the studio driver. I also do a lot of work in Blender anyway, so that kind of made sense. And I I'm usually right on par with the updates, more or less, for the graphics driver. So that might, that I hope that helps with the issues you're experiencing. Yeah, I mean, if you have a graphics card, if I'm sorry, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card and you do any kind of like editing work or things involving video or like say 3D modeling, I I find personally that the studio drivers are are better for me. Now, your mileage may vary. In fact, it probably will vary. So I don't know what the best procedure is going to be for you, but I don't know. I guess experimentation is going to be the only way to figure it out. Oh, yeah, there we go. Clean installation too. All right. So, looks like we're actually going to be doing a pretty straight shot. That's cool. And let's see, do it in pounds. And we have an updated air rack. At least I'm pretty sure we have an updated air rack. Please tell me we do. We don't, but I'm not on VATSIM, so I'm not going to worry about it. There's actually more than a few updates that are available. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so like I'm like 2412 in terms of AirAC, but again, I'm not on VATSIM today, so I don't care. Let's just go ahead and put it on 2412. And I like how SemBrief makes it obvious you're using an outdated AirAC, so that's fine. I am generating the flight now. Block time is a little over 2.5 hours. So that's actually pretty good for today. Let me go ahead and open up charts. And now that I have it in charts, I think it might load into my plane. I might be wrong, but I know we're going to be flying out of Jackson Hole. We're going to be going on the Alpine for departure to Big Piney, and then almost a straight, I mean, literally a straight shot to Toby. And then a few waypoints later, we're going to be taking the Jovem 6 arrival into 36 left at DFW. So actually, I won't need this. All I have to do is spawn into Jackson Hole, and now we can get going. So, very first time I will ever be doing a 787 flight out of Jackson Hole in 2020. And flight conditions right now, I don't know what the weather is, so I'm going to check the weather in Navigraph charts. Weather is winds 130 at 4, visibility 3/4 statute miles, snow, temperatures -9, dew points -11, altimeter is 299 or 7. So we're going to have icing concerns. That's a given. But it's also kind of fun. So let's see. If you want to join me, I'm flying from Jackson, Wyoming to Dallas Fort Worth, and I'm on East USA multiplayer. So let's go ahead and get started, and then we will get underway. Ooh, look at that. I see the snow. There's also more than a few airplanes parked here. Let me see. I don't know whether the default option has the planes parked sideways, but that's okay. This is definitely big enough for me, and I'm most likely not going to need... Actually, I wouldn't mind taking a pushback, to be completely honest, but it's okay. Lots of little, wow, lots of little jets. Look at this. Look at this. I'm guessing these are like this is the closest they can get to giving me ERJs on the ground. But this is pretty neat. Even though they've substituted Gulf Streams for the probably ERJ jets that are in the area. We are not going to be seeing the Grand Tetons today, I'll give you that much. Hey, Studio Canuck, my friend, welcome aboard. Happy New Year to you. We are at default Jackson Hole Airport in Jackson, Wyoming, and we are in need of some aircraft heat already. So let's see. I'm going to get all this stuff underway, and then we're going to go ahead and plug this bird in and get it going. Actually, we do not have power or services. Is anybody even loading us? No, but that's okay. I'm going to pretend we're already loaded up. Let's just go ahead and get going. So, before I do anything else, let's go ahead and fire up the battery. And let's also get the APU started right away. So let's go ahead and do beacon nav logo. And just for good measure, we're going to do wing lights, anti-ice to auto, and we're going to turn all the fuel pumps on while I get myself configured. Yes, I'm going to break immersion for the sake of getting everything loaded. Don't care. I just want to make sure this plane doesn't ice up more than it's supposed to. You departed Edmonton for Cancun. I fly Max. Let's go. I hope you're enjoying the plane. Let me go ahead and work with my outdated AIRAC, and we'll do a pause init at Jackson. And now we have that. Let's request. There we go. One of the planes is leaving. Let's load. Yes, let's go. SimBrief gave me the goods. All right, runway 19er. We've got the route requested. We'll execute that. And it's Alpine 4 to Teton 3. Teton 3. Wait a minute, does that make any sense at all? Teton 3 isn't one of my waypoints. Unless I'm missing something. That's okay. That's okay. We'll massage the flight plan. Alpine 4. Okay. So now we have that. Big Piney's a transition. Got it. And let's go ahead and set the waypoints for the route. Alpine 4, there we go. Easy, Mdano. And from Mdano, we're going to go take the Jovem 6 arrival. Good. This is catching up. I hope you enjoy your flight, Studio Canuck. Oh, folks, of course, where are my manners? Studio Canuck is a longtime friend of the stream. Somebody that I've really enjoyed getting to know over the years, and a great flight sim content producer. If you are not following Studio Canuck, please do yourself a favor. Go follow Studio Canuck right now. Produces fantastic content for the community, and again, a pleasure to hang out with on flights. So please check out Studio Canuck on Twitch. Okay, so what are we transitioning from? We should be transitioning from Endano. And now what I can do is choose the approach. Let's take a look and see if we can actually find the approaches available for 36 left. 36 left has a pretty far out final approach fix at all in, which I might do just to make sure we're probably set up. Because if I just jump in and go willy-nilly with an aircraft this big and complicated, it's probably not going to like me for doing it. So that should do us fine. We have Kickney, Big Piney, Tango Bravo Echo, Easy and Dono, and then we go down to vectors for all in. I'm going to leave the vectors in for now, and if I start to forget stuff, or if I just get a little bit, um, what's it called, too self-aware, I'm going to go ahead and get the discrepancy or discontinuity removed. Thank you so much, Studio Canuck. Really appreciate having you here. Now, let me check my flight plan. I'll take a look at my briefing. We are going to be taking a maximum of 87,200 pounds of fuel. So I don't remember if this plane actually lets me configure the fuel, but we're going to figure this out. Let me make sure my window heats up because it's iced. We should have time. We should have time. It is icy out there, but we should have time to get defrosted. Can I do performance? Yes, I can. Can I do an airport search? Runways? How does that work? Let's see. I'm going to say dry snow. And winds are what? Winds right now on my paper say 130 at 4. Outside temperature is -9. So, yeah, it's cold. And the QNH is 29 or 9 or 7. Okay. Thrust rating, it's going to be takeoff all the way, max. Flap config, I'm probably going to make it at least 15 or 20. This is going to be 15 with like a full-on blast of thrust. Anti-ice config, it's going to be engine anti-ice. And let's see. Takeoff weight is supposed to be 398.9 max. Zero fuel weight is going to be 312.8. And I don't know what CG is. Oh, there we go. There we go. Takeoff rating. Done. And now we can calculate. Nice. Still don't see my CG, but I'm not sure if it's not giving me V1, if it's not giving me V speeds because I just don't have the room for it. What if I did flaps 20? All right, Kev, enjoy your flight. I'm happy to provide the inspiration, and I hope you have a great day. Much love to you and your family, and Happy New Year. Okay, so we've got what I'm hoping are reasonable performance numbers. We are going to be departing flaps 20. It's going to be one hairy departure, just the way I like it. And let's get some overheads. And can I actually configure my my fuel from here? Route, performance. No, but I should probably be able to override it here. So fuel is going to be 87,200 pounds. Wow, there we go. Almost on the money. And you know what? I don't like having less than... No. Digi, slow down. Trust the calculations. Payload. Payload is going to be 45,500 pounds. There we go. That's about as close as we're going to get. And that's it. We got a little bit of fuel in center tanks, and then we have left main and right main at 100%. So there we go. Zero fuel weight again, 355 flat. And reserves, possible extra 54.9 because this is a Digi flight and Digi tankers fuel. Obviously. You know how to fly that thing? Eric will find out. Happy New Year, my friend. Welcome aboard. Folks, if you do not follow my friend Eric Flight, you should. Eric is a great friend of the channel, somebody that actually flies IRL and puts out content on Twitch. If you do not follow Eric Flight, I would highly recommend you do so. Eyes closed, head first, can't lose. Okay. And we have CG is 6%. Let me set up my, is it 6? No, just 6 flat. There we go. That should be enough for departure. And thrust is fully takeoff, climb, and flaps are going to be 20. You got it, Eric. Thrust is takeoff. CG is 6. Oh, the woohoo! CG, if CG is 6, trim is 14. Let's go. This is going to be crazy. I've never had trim set to 14. This could be a very, very, very interesting flight. Tail strike may be imminent. And takeoff weight is going to be 398.9. Speed's deleted. All right, so it's 130, 137, 145. And we'll set 145. We'll blow right past it on takeoff. And light control mode. What? Am I missing something? Okay, I'll get to those flows shortly, but let me take a look upstairs. All right. Also, having the IRS set up would be a very good thing. I don't think towing power works. That's okay. I don't care. APU gen is running. We'll get the hydraulics and electrics on auto. Flight attendant's doors to auto cross-check. Let's make sure we are where we are. Air conditioning. Air conditioning cold enough. Packs to auto. We don't need to turn the packs off for departure. Although, I might consider it for this one. Glare shield panel. Panels all the way up. Overhead panels all the way up. And we already have anti-ice. I'll probably turn those all the way to full on once we get going. Coffee Cup Arcade. Hello. Good to see you, friend. Welcome aboard. Happy to have you with us. Folks, if you do not know my friend Coffee Cup Arcade, you might want to. Coffee Cup Arcade is the reason why I have developed a resurgence in retro gaming habits. He likes to play video game music, also custom SID tunes, and occasionally plays classic video games on the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64, the Amiga, and probably a host of other platforms, including Atari, the various Atari platforms. Thank you, my friend. Yes. Okay, I'll make sure to get them to you right now. All right, folks, while this bird continues to defrost a bit, I'm going to go grab something from Mrs. Digi. BRB. All right, folks, thanks for the delay. Thanks for the wait while I had that delay. Just taking care of Mrs. T. She's not feeling all that well today. So uh, I told her, I said, you can interrupt me as many times as you like. You come first. That's just how it goes, period. So um, basically, that's just how it is. And if you're on stream and you're like, oh, well, why is Digi taking care of his wife before he's flying the plane? It's because I love her and she comes first, period. Uh, I'm not compromising on that. If you have an issue with that, take it up with the complaint department. That's just how it goes. But I think we're good upstairs. Let me double check. I think we're good. We are running on APU right now, chewing through some fuel. Panels are up. Beacon nav logo. Complaint department equals me. If you have a problem. Well done, Eric Flight. Uh, all right. So fuel's flowing. We've got air conditioning and packs on, and we get our stuff auto pressurized, so we don't have any problems with that. The departure out of Jackson Hole is the Alpine 4. Alpine 4 initial climb. Top altitude is assigned by ATC. I don't care right now. And the max altitude for today's flight is going to be 41,000 feet. So let's set up 41,000 feet right now because that's exactly what's going to happen. Looks like we have some GA traffic too, which is cool. Huge narc, one of the two. I appreciate your support, my friends. Also, looks like we have more traffic which has spawned in. I think, ooh, they have a 767 here? It's entirely possible. You just have to be very good at what you do. In FSX, I think the largest aircraft I landed into here was was an MD-11, theoretically. I don't know if I would be able to take that plane off again, but that's about as far as I went. So let me think. We have our V-suite set. Let's go ahead and set the magnetic deviation for the departure. The airport's runway 19 has a magnetic deviation of 187. Let's go ahead and set that. And once I get that set, since we already have the APU going, I should be able to get the engines turned on and we should be able to get out of here lickety-split. Now, let's go downstairs. I need to make sure that my nav is set. I didn't choose my ILS yet. ILS, we're going to be doing all in for the final approach fix. And if I take a look at the ILS localizer approach all in, the minimums are 788 feet. And what else was I looking for? I was looking for the frequency. 111.9. So let's turn this on. 111.9er. And the course heading is going to be 356. 356. There we go. Woohoo! Let's go, Nick. Thank you so much, CCA. I really appreciate your support. I'm not afraid to say this at all. The support of just the Digi fam and so many friendly folks that I've come across over 2024 has meant so much to me. I'm not gonna lie at all. You are amazing folks that have come around me and offered me support and encouragement. I really want to say thank you. So all I have to do now is get my Barrowmans set for arrival. I think we should be configured for Barrowmans. We're going to be doing 788 feet is the minimum altitude at Dallas Fort Worth. I thought it was going to take a lot longer to fly down there. It's funny. Let's see. 788 feet almost. There we go. 788 set. And press the B button to calibrate my altimeter because I'm lazy. And there we go. TCAS is off. Let's just go ahead and set TCAS to TARA because it's just easier that way. Yep, there we go. And now what I can do is probably turn the clock on and get going. So weather, traffic, let's take a look at systems. Let's see, entry. we should be able to get going. And once we do, it'll be doors to auto. So let me just double check. Other than the spawned in aircraft, we should be good. Oh, there's like 2 planes here. Unless I have issues with my icing, which I appear to have, but that's okay. We'll take it. We'll take it one problem at a time. Let's just pretend I got de-iced. Let's go ahead and put my. Where's the icing thing on this aircraft? I thought I saw. I thought I saw something that controlled icing. I'm trying to go meta here. Debug, aircraft, stall, engines, ground effect. Where was it? Where was it? I thought I saw it. Debug weather, sim objects, options. My friend Nathan's Planes was talking about this before, and I didn't actually see it there. Excuse me, I didn't actually see where he went. So let's go ahead and turn the engines on. It'll probably kick off the de-icing in a major way. So I'm not going to do a pushback because I'm basically facing down the taxiway anyway, and we'll be taxiing up Alpha to depart on runway 19er. So let's go ahead and just pretend that we're clear. And since we're already running the APU, let's start up engine number 2. No need to turn the packs off for engine start, and we're at 15%. Also, the 787, I believe, allows us to turn both engines on at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Engine 1 start. Once that hits 15%, I'll go ahead and toggle the fuel on that one as well. %. Engine on. And while we're at it, let's make sure that we have the flaps set in the appropriate position. At least I thought I had the flaps set in the appropriate position. Standby 1. I might have to disconnect my joystick as it's not recognizing it. There we go. Keep default. That's better. And there we are. Engines are running. And the icing looks a little bit extreme and kind of disjointed, but there is icing. Also, we are running the engines now, so anti-icing should be in full effect, and let me check upstairs. Air conditioning, packs are on, trim air is on. We're doing a bit of a reverse flow, and we have all the fuel running. Anti-ice is fully on. All the lights are on. I'm going to turn the taxi lights on and go back up. Okay, FD door power was off. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I can probably just turn it on and leave it that way. Window heats are on. We have hydraulics and engines, electrics on. Excuse me. Lighting. IRSs should be aligned at this point, and we have battery. I can probably turn off the APU gen. Yeah, we're good. Flaps 20, doors to auto. Good. That's what I'd like to see. Okay, plenty of fuel for the flight. Generators are powering the plane and the electronics. APU's coming down. Brakes and tires are looking good. And flight controls. We're going to do full left, full right, full forward, full back, full left rudder, full right rudder, spoilers, spoilers retract. There we go. Leave the sets of fuel, and now we can set this back up. I'll set this one for 20 and the main one for 40. And let's see. Let's get going. All right, so we're gonna have a frosty plane out of here, but basically we do have anti-ice operational. Now, let's see, stall, engines, ground effect, interactive points, legacy. I'm curious, actually. Options, tools, stats profiler, editors. Yeah, can't tell. Can't tell. But it's okay. It's okay. Any ice is running, so we're good to go. Let's release the parking brake, if it's even running. There we go. Parking brake released. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Looking frosty. Okay, so this is kind of taxiing itself at this point. Just want to set up my interior view. Reset the position, and we're going to go fix camera inside. There we go. All right, good enough. All right, folks, let me know if my levels are too high or too low. I checked, and I think we're good for volume, but if I'm too boomy or I'm too quiet, I'll try to adjust to make sure you have a better sound experience. And we'll get the clock running. Let's just say I'm about 3 to 5 minutes behind. I think we're going to be okay getting out of here, assuming these engines have the thrust profile to get us going. Also, it looks like we have a 737 coming into land, which is dope. And snow. I don't see them on radar, though. I don't know if I'd actually see them on any of these screens, but I'm curious to note if that actually happens. We have the flight set. We have the flight plan set, I should say. Speed set, auto throttles armed. We have flight directors on, nose light on, taxi lights on, fuel being dispersed, APU off, excuse me. And that should be it. FMC pre-flight's complete, and takeoff ref is set. Welcome aboard, everybody. Happy to have you with me as I fly for the first time in 2025 with Microsoft Flight Simulator, or what we like to call FS 2020. This August will be 5 years since Microsoft launched this iteration and basically reboot of the franchise, which makes me kind of almost be like, what? It's incredible. I know. It's crazy, but it's also amazing. I think that 737 is actually coming into land and won't be that far off the mark. I don't know if that's an aircraft at the end of the taxiway. It could be. No, it's just a road. Okay. We'll cut the throttles. All right, we'll depart shortly. Flight attendants, seats for departure, please. Okay. Nope, hold on. We'll hold short. Parking brake is set, and it does look like that 737 is coming in. It's less than 5 miles out, so I'm going to wait for it. I think I will use the heads-up display today for departure. I'm certainly not going to pass up this opportunity to use it. Someone's coming in. Just don't know who. Looks like whatever system was here is moving on. It'll still be snowing by the time we depart. Almost. Should probably be seeing the airplane come through here. Someone's definitely landing, that's for sure. Just don't know who. There we go. Yep, I think I see lights. I think. This is kind of cool. Uh-oh, are they going around? They might be going around, or it might be really windy. Come on, come on. Keep it together. Come on, you can do it. Don't know. I mean, it's a long enough runway for a 737, but it's going to be a short landing. Not sure if they made it or they went out to the main menu, but here we go. All right, parking brake, release. Runway lights up, taxi light off, strobe light on. Here we go. Right. I'm basically hugging the right side of the taxiway. I'm going to roll out, put the parking brake on, spool up the engines to max thrust, and then we're getting out of here. I don't care if I'm perfectly aligned. That's good enough. All right, flaps to 20, trim is set. Let's spool up to max takeoff thrust. We are max takeoff power, chat. Here we go. 94, 95, 96% on one. Release. Airspeed's alive. I believe we're looking for 137 V rotate. 80 knots. Nose already wants to rotate.
3, 1.
And believe it or not, we're actually up. Before we ran out of runway. All right, positive rate, gear up. Flaps 15. And we're following the sun out of here. Autopilot. LNAV, VNAV. That's incredible. All right, nose light off. Flaps to 5. Flaps 1. Coming up on clean speed now. All right, flaps up. That's absolutely crazy. Still frosty, but we got out of there. Just look at this. It's absolute pea soup. Wow. Also, flappy wings. That's dope. Ooh. Past 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and put the HUD away. 10,000. Landing lights off. I'll turn the wing lights off. Actually, we'll keep them on for safety. Unbelievable. Academically, it is possible to fly this bird out of Jackson, but I don't know if it is viable. Keep getting a caution light. We do have anti-ice all the way up, but I also don't see any ECAS messages that tell me that something's wrong. So disregard. We are doing a VNAV climb. We are climbing at almost 3,000 feet per minute, and we're well past 10,000 feet. We're actually approaching 14,000 feet on the way out of Jackson, Wyoming. We are in Flight Sim 2020. I am enjoying some time in the Kuromod 787-800, and we are on our way out of Wyoming to visit Dallas Fort Worth, just the bespoke scenery that's available to me in the premium deluxe version of MSFS that I currently have. Once we hit cruise, I'm considering firing up Blender and doing a little bit of quick object design. We're about 3,000 feet away from going standard pressure. And the one thing I forgot to do was actually to activate RTO for auto brakes on the way out of the airport, but we were going full blast anyway, so it was either all or nothing. Wow. Incredible. We are frosty, but we are coming out of all of that system into a beautiful, beautiful clearing. Welcome to the Rockies in winter. Look at that. Evis 2020 still has it where it counts, kids. Okay, we're past 18,000 feet, so I'm going to hit the standard button. We are standard pressure all the way up to flight level 410. Let's also take a look at the flight plan. Top of climb is going to be in roughly an hour. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So I guess we're going to be doing a step climb to 410, but considering how long we have for the flight anyway, that's okay. We're not going to be seeing top of climb for at least 30 minutes, looks like, so that's all right. Okay, so at this point, I'm pretty sure I can put down my flight controls. For now, at least. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my stream. And today's flight is a flight from Jackson, Wyoming to Dallas Fort Worth in Texas in Flight Sim 2020. We're flying the custom Kuromod 788 or 787-800. We've got a complement of passengers and crew and cargo on board. Payload, I should say, since this isn't a cargo flight, and we're flying in the American Airlines livery. It got icy on the way out of Jackson, Wyoming, but we are on our way down and making some progress as we climb at about 1,600 feet per minute. Or might take a break from the cabin once we start getting close to cruise to make myself some tea, and then we will chat about all things. I got an idea when I sat down this afternoon, and I feel like sharing it with you guys. Some of you may or may not know I have created a channel on YouTube, which I am going to be populating with scenery dev content. If you do not know my channel, I invite you to follow or to basically, do the YouTube thing and subscribe. and I'm going to try to put some content there either this week or next week. Also, to those of you adventurous enough to want to provide a little extra support, I'm going to give you the link to my Buy Me a Coffee account. This is strictly for people that are considering becoming valued supporters of the channel. Not that those of you that do not give money aren't. If all you do is lurk or chat, you are valuable members of the community because lurkers raise the channel algorithm and chatters make the experience great. Buymeacoffee.com is for folks that want to become members and supporters of the channel. You will be privy to earlier access to things like tutorial videos and scenery releases. I'm considering, provided the opportunity arises to do better or to release more airports, I'm considering giving supporters, or maybe in the future a slightly higher level, discounts or pre-release access to airports and such that I release for the simulator. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to make this something which is going to become a broken record, so get used to me saying this. I do not want to keep the knowledge that I provide for scenery development or for tutorials behind a paywall. That is not the idea. However, if you choose to become a supporter of the channel through buymeacoffee.com or through other methods, which I'm going to potentially try to lay out in the near future, you're going to get significantly earlier access to said content, and you'll potentially be considered for future things like potential giveaways or maybe even swag of some kind. I'm trying to build up the brand and complete the process of something I started a couple of years ago. If you don't know my story, I am a longtime flight sim enthusiast and currently content creator. Now, you can argue that anybody that streams on Twitch or does things and puts out content on YouTube is a content creator, and that's what I am. But what happened was this. I jumped into Twitch, I want to say sometime around 2018, and I started using my old tablet PC and a copy of Flight Simulator X Steam Edition to do flights. And I started liking it. I started gathering a following. And then eventually I got a sim rig, which was a desktop PC. And then I got my second sim rig in November of 2021. Now, I did things like flying in FSX, in X-Plane, in P3D, and eventually in FS 2020. But I got to a point at the beginning of 2022 where I was basically toasty. I burnt out. I wasn't happy. It really wasn't producing the kind of satisfaction that I wanted it to produce. And I stepped away for, I think, about a week or two. So basically what happened was I didn't really know. I just knew that I wasn't having a good time. And it was evident. It was evident. And if it wasn't evident, it wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be because I was focused on it for all the wrong reasons. And then something made me think about scenery development. And I started learning about Blender. And I started learning about creating scenery inside of Microsoft Flight Sim. And I think that's one of the reasons why I actually started doing scenery development. FS 2020 gave me the tool to be able to create scenery and get that visual dopamine hit that said, hey, I actually put this box here and it shows up in the airport. That's great. So that, combined with the passing of a dear friend of mine, was the catalyst that I needed to get my career as a scenery developer started. Now, I say career, essentially it was basically my desire to turn my passion into something more. Because I actually, once upon a time, did a teensy bit of scenery development back in the days of Microsoft Flight Simulator 98. I just didn't pursue it a whole bunch, and I got busy with other stuff. At the time, I think I started getting more into indie gaming, console gaming, and I stepped away from Flight Sim for a few years. But again, in 2022, I kicked off doing Flight Sim streams that were more focused on creating airports. And I essentially rebranded. I went from being a dude that did a lot of Flight Sim flights to being a dude that did a lot of Flight Sim scenery development. And I also released my very first payware scenery that fall, which was Whiskey 904, Camp Peary Landing Strip outside of Williamsburg, Virginia. I sold that, some folks bought it, and I'm happy they did. I need to go back to that airport and need to basically update it and create a better version for people to actually have for FS 2024. And you better believe that if I actually release that airport for FS 2024, I'm going to redo it from scratch. And the folks that purchased Whiskey 904 are either going to get it free of charge or discounted so ridiculously that it's basically going to be a free purchase anyway. So that's kind of what I want to do. And that's kind of what I've been doing. The problem that I ran into was that I got this kind of like, too big for my britches syndrome. What happened was that I got to a point where I was just like, oh, wow, I can make so much more stuff happen. And then I said, okay, let's just do all the things. And I promptly burnt out because I wanted to create airport after airport after airport. And it started getting busier and busier and busier with my IRL work. So I got to a point where the irresistible force met the immovable object, and I didn't know what to do. I got frustrated. I got scared. I kind of backed off for a while. And that was right around the time that I took like a 2-week trip to Alaska. It was really good timing because it just gave me a chance to literally unplug. Like, if you're looking for a place to go where it's going to be difficult for you to do anything relative to Flight Sim while you're on vacation, even if it's just looking at content on Twitch streams, go to Alaska and take a cruise in Alaska. Because it's going to be somewhat difficult for you to access the same content or do things that you normally do at home. Now, 2024 was crazy for a different reason because my IRL work was kind of nuts. But at the same time, I got to a place where it was possible for me to chill. So I got past the hurdles of this year, and I was relieved to discover that as the intensity of my IRL work decreased, I found I was starting to get my desire to do other stuff, play games, relax, have a good time, and just chill. So I'm grateful for that. Where I am right now, I want to create airports in FS 2020 and FS 2024. I recently released my very first airport I made, which was Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport for FS 2024, and it's available on flightsim.to. You can just search for me as DIGI Driver, or you can look up Kilo Hotel India Golf KHIG, which is Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport. It's a one runway airport, and it's got custom buildings, lighting, and it's just my first stab at airport development for FS 2024, which I hope to continue certainly, but I'm focused on getting into and wrapping up the projects that I have in FS 2020. Whoa. Glad you're okay, CCA. I had heard about something like that today. So, again, happy that you were safe. We are about 5,000 feet away from approaching our cruising altitude. And let me take a look at the flight plan right now. I'm going to switch to my Navigraph charts window, which you guys can't see because I don't have it shown, but that's okay. Yeah, I'd say we are about maybe 10 to 15% of the journey out, and we are well on our way to Dallas Fort Worth. We're going to be passing through several airspaces, including Salt Lake Center, Denver Center, Albuquerque Center, and then Houston Center. But that would only be relevant if I was actually on VATSIM. Since I'm not going to worry about it. Well, yeah, again, my friend, I'm very happy that you're okay. Um, I, like more than a few other flight sim streamers out there, like to bring people into an environment where we can enjoy flight sim and stuff like that. But I'm of the persuasion that says, I don't care who you vote for. If we can have civil conversation about issues that matter to you, then that's good. I know the past several years have made people be very wary of having discussions like that, and it's not something that I openly broadcast. But I think different points of view and differences of opinion can be beneficial to people. I think we need to sit down and to listen to each other again. That is how we move forward. I get you. Dude, I totally understand. I mean, okay, I don't think whatchamacallit, um, I don't think I talked about this much on stream, but we went to we went to Alaska last summer, 2023. I went to I went to Juneau, Alaska. Did you know? But I went to Juneau, Alaska. We took a bus to the Mendenhall Glacier, and I was literally in an area where there was a lake where the glacier runoff basically melted into, and there was also a waterfall that was there. Do you know first? um, and basically, I was there. It was beautiful. I took pictures and video of it. I get back from the trip literally about a few days or a week after I get back. Um, they either had an earthquake or they like a piece of the glacier broke off or something, and there was like a good chunk of flooding in Juneau. And I think in hindsight, what happened was the I think a slab broke off the Mendenhall Glacier, which clearly impacted water levels there, and like kaboom, lots of water going through. And I was there. I was literally there. I was about 3/4 of a mile. I was standing in the area where 3/4 of a
Brace
mile
yourself.
back there, the flood would have come through. Flying with Mike, welcome aboard. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for stopping by today. I am Digi Driver, and we are in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We're flying to Dallas Fort Worth after a snowy and icy departure out of Jackson Hole in Jackson, Wyoming. Flying with Mike, appreciate you very much. If you are not following Flying with Mike, I would recommend you do so. Flying with Mike spends a lot of time flying in at least X-Plane, if not FS 2020 as well. Forgive me. Um, I know, I know Flying with Mike does a lot of flying. Uh, oh, CCA? Well, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, my friend. I'm going to say you saw the error of your ways, or at the very least, needed your time. So, welcome, welcome aboard, and welcome again to the Raiders, and of course to my friend Flying with Mike. Hopefully, you are doing very well. We have hit our cruising altitude. More like we gave it a bear hug. So we are at cruise, and now we're going to let the flight attendants do their thing, and we're good. Yes, my friend, welcome. So we're flying a rather iced up version of the 787-800. The ice is not as bad as it was before. It was really bad getting out of uh, Jackson, but we're good now. This kind of takes me back to when I was first flying FS 2020 and how easily it would visually ice up on almost every flight. So that it makes me smile. It just took me back like about 3 or 4 years. So what do I want to do at this point? Oh, let's go upstairs. We're well enough up there that I can set the anti-ice back to auto. So that's fine. All right, we're good. How much time do we have? Let me see. CCA, I would definitely agree with you. Um, Having weaponry pointed in my general direction is scary. Having weaponry pointed at me, yeah, that's gonna get my attention. So, hmm yeah, I'm gonna be paying careful attention to people asking me questions. That's usually how it goes. I mean, it definitely is how it's gonna go for me. So wait, what did I say? An hour and 55 minutes flight time. I'm gonna say give or take 15, 20 minutes. So we've been flying now for about the past 30 minutes. So we've got another easily hour and 15 minutes, if not more, for the flight. Yeah. And CCA, between you and me, that's probably the way it was intended to be, to make sure they got the truth out. But we both know we're not going to make that kind of mistake in the future, right? Right. Yeah. Pretty much. I've never seen the video, but I would imagine it probably ended just as scary. So I would imagine that would not be something that you would want to do. uh, yeah, life's interesting that way. Yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. Police at the gate in Sydney. Let's see. Let me don my best Yoda voice. Curious, are you? Uh, that's interesting stuff. That's life. Yeah, we're looking good. This plane de-ices nicely. So I'd say we're probably about 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes into the flight. And we're up at 41,000 feet. We should probably be there in another hour and change. So I think what we can do now is reconfigure and see if we can get some blender work in. I think some people have done that before, SC. I just don't know if I'd do that. Um, I don't, I don't, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's posted at the gates. I don't think they are, but I don't know that for a fact. Oh, I see. Gotcha. All right. So, what was I going to do today? I would probably say I could work on some either nondescript or less than nondescript objects so that I could actually benefit the current project work I'm doing. So let me go ahead and fire up my Discord window. I need to get some info to see if I can create some objects while we're in cruise. So some of you already know this. I've been consulted for a private project, and I'm working on airports in Florida. So I need to start doing something where I start developing objects. What I can probably do is fire up the satellite imagery of choice, unless of course I can't, and that's entirely possible if my memory and my CPU cycles are starting to get chewed through. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh wow, yeah, it's interesting. Let me double check and see whether or not I've got my CPU maxed out, because I can't actually open up anything else. Oh wow, this is kind of nuts. FS 2020 is starting to behave like old X-Plane 11 did when I was streaming with it. It like I can't access anything else at the moment. I mean, not that it's impossible to. I'm just saying that it takes a while to allow me to do stuff. Now I can do stuff. That's good. All right, where's I going? Oh, right. Just download more CPU and RAM. Actually, you want to know what? I forgot to do something. Let me actually download more frame rate. I'm going to turn on lossless scaling, and all of us together are going to see whether or not that makes things smoother in the sim. All right, so let's do this. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of the frame gen going on with my 3060 Ti. Stuff is so much smoother now. Also, I'm overlaying the DLSS with AMD FSR sharpening. So there we go. The kappa actually came in useful. All right. I'm going to close my... I think I'm going to close my hardware monitor for now, because this is going to take up some CPU cycles that I don't want to lose. Yeah, I'm using AMD FSR scaling, and I'm using LSFG 1.1 frame gen. So that's good. All right. Now, I'm younger than old, but I'm older than young. And I'm old enough to know that at this point, I'm having fun with the sim. If I CTD because I turn on Blender, to be honest with you, I don't care. Sure, I'll miss out on the flight, but I also don't care. Let me go ahead and open up Blender 3.1.0. And I'm going to open up a general window and clear my stuff. I don't think you see the window yet. Let me go ahead and open up Blender as well. So I'm going to make Blender, I think I'm going to make the Blender window smaller than it usually is. Where is it? It's right here. Oh, actually it was open. It was just underneath FS 2024. This is an FS 2024, this is FS 2020, but this is actually, that capture is actually allowing me to do everything. Oh yeah, we're talking about, yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the international airports and things like, big heavy tube liners going in and out of Vegas, yeah, it's gonna happen. And like fighter jets too. So that's good. Okay. We'll keep most of the flight sim window open and we'll use like a good quarter to third of the screen for blender work because I want to. I'm going to experiment and I'm going to go to the internet because I want to see something. Let's go to maps. I want to find the Sun Tracks test facility. Toll operations. There we go. All right. I'm. Oh my word. Dude, this is unbelievable. Okay, if you've never seen this, go here. Oh, never mind. I mean, I guess you have to copy and paste the whole thing. Wow. 37 countries total. That's incredible. Okay, now I have a slight problem, but at the same time, I kind of sort of don't care. And the reason I kind of sort of don't care is because I'm going to use the imagery that's available. I guess we're going to create a facility, and I don't know if the easiest thing for me to do is to drape the entire stuff, to drape the entire area that I'm going to render this in satellite imagery and just build the buildings. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. So, okay, I'm going to see the photos that are here, and we're going to start by building everything it is that I can build for it. So, I'm going to start with what I think is the entrance and exit banner to the test facility. This is part of the project I'm working on. All right. So, how do I do this? Oh, wow, CC, I didn't know that. That's incredible. I've known people who served, so yeah, that the trade comes with certain skills you have to learn. But that's kind of dope. Let's see. Let me just double check my progress here. Oh yeah, I easily have an hour at least until time to drop. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a circle and we're gonna fill it. And let me see. How big would this circle be? I'm assuming the arch into the SunTrax test facility is going to be at least 3 car lengths tall at its peak. So, well, excuse me, 3 car heights tall. One, two, three, maybe 4 or 5. So I'm going to say I'm going to say it's 5 car heights tall, maybe 6. I'm just going to roll with it. So 6. If the average car is about 5.5 feet tall, make it 6 feet, then that means the radius is 36 feet and the diameter is 72. So that means we have a big arch. And the Commodore 64. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Rotation. Rotation, rotation, rotation. Let's do 90 degrees. Oh, excuse me. There we go. There is the arch. Let's give it 64 vertices. 64 is probably going to be enough, at least for right now, for a proof of concept. So, 11-meter radius, 64 vertices for the circle. That is good. All right, I'm happy. So, let's go ahead and grab this, and we're going to take the face, and then we're going to inset it. There we go. Now, if I take a look at this, I would imagine we're looking at least 3 to 4 foot thick metal arch. But I'm going to eyeball this. Literally, I guess about that much, maybe more. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It has been a privilege making friends with people on Twitch. I mean, hey, some people want to be left to themselves. I want to respect that. But I gotta say, it's been fun getting to know folks like CCA and SC and Nick Gressla and Eric Flight and Kev. It's a blessing. So I'm gonna get rid of the space. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the remaining faces and we're going to extrude them. So if I extrude them, say 1.5 to 2 or 3 feet, that should probably be fine. And we probably don't need to have the arch all the way up. In fact, we can probably cut it off here and then just stick it in the ground. So I need to make a few more additions, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this straight on, and we're going to select the other faces or the other vertices because we're going to get rid of this. And then that takes care of that. Take care of all these vertices. Oh, you know what? No. Let's try it this way. And now we can get rid of these faces too. And I'll leave the bottom open since we're not going to be paying attention to it anyway. And now we have an arch. But we need other stuff as well. And I would presume I'm going to need to make some slightly rectangular polygons. I'm just like, keeping it loosey-goosey here. We're going to make a plane. The size of this plane is probably going to be... We're going to make the biggest ones first. I'm assuming it's going to be something like 32 feet tall. So 32 feet, and that's square, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll work with this. All right, so let's bring this up. And look at it from this angle. Bring it to 5. Okay, that's too much. 4.9. That's good enough. So what I need to do is turn it into something which will work. And I suspect these kind of like supports for the arch are gonna be maybe 3 feet wide at the top and about 6 feet wide at the base. All right, so let's take this out. And I'm going to scale this down. And then we're going to make this about that much, and then you about that much. Actually, that's crazy. That might actually work. Okay, so we're going to split this into pieces. I'm going to say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's how I'm going to make it. So, first thing I want to do is I want to make this look like it has some curvature. So, I'm going to arc the one side of it over, which means I'm going to move. I think I know what to do. I'm going to move this edge out. Actually, I'm going to move all these edges out. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and yours, my friend. It's a privilege hanging out on stream with you and to catch up with you when you stream this one. I know you said you were working on some new stuff. I'm curious to see what you got when it comes. So let's go ahead and slide this up. This kind of needs to go out. Not too much, just enough. And so we're going to be kind of like stripping pieces of this off as we go. I'm just experimenting here. Well, I love your soul right now, my friend. So I'm curious to see what you bring to the table. Actually, I think I like the arc of this right now. It's not that strong. I'm just gonna have to reselect these and kind of push them back. Is it that significant a cutoff? I don't know. Oh wait, I know. Okay, I'm going to have to choose vertices at this point. essentially I'm playing with curvature here, just doing it the old-fashioned way. And hopefully I'll be able to do something meaningful. I tend to get quiet when I start to really focus in on um, Blender work. So, if anybody wonders why, that's why. I would probably duplicate these objects to keep from having to, you know, struggle with rendering them correctly. So that's somewhat close at least. Take the bottom part as well. So spoken, sir. So spoken. Do I need to do it that way? Ugh. Alright, I guess I have to adjust them the way I adjusted the other ones as well. These need to be fairly straight. If you're confused as to what I'm making, it's kinda sorta a work in progress. Fantastic. Well, I still have the ideas kicking around in my head, and like I said before, especially the past few times we've hung out, I've gotten a chance to de-stress, detune, and to really figure out what it is that I'm after. I started to get comfy again with the Raspberry Pi machinery that I have, and with my penchant for, toy programming. So I might wind up creating something in Python or a different language that lets me iterate pretty quickly. You really want to? I do too. I do too. I mean, like, put it to you this way: if I had absolutely zero barriers, in the sense that if there was absolutely, utterly nothing that would stop me from actually creating one, and there technically really isn't, then I'd like to. I think the original idea that I came up with still flies. I just need to create the engine, even a basic engine, and basically create a game loop and an idea for whatever it is that I actually want to make happen. So I think it's very possible. I think it's quite doable. I just think it's a question of figuring out how to make things happen so that it's easier for me to either parcel out the time or the resources to make it happen. And I can compartmentalize what I do enough so that I don't have to worry about things getting complex or challenging, because it's like, oh, I don't have time to do blah, 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 blah. You do. You just have to choose what to do when. That's my philosophy. Your reputation speaks for you, man. Like, I can't even imagine. Okay, so we've got this plane created, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it because I want to make a copy of it. And we're going to take this one, and we're going to drag it. Can I flip it? Wrong mirror. There we go. All right. So great. The machinery in question. Glad you have a rep at all. You do have a rep. Yeah, man. I mean, Westwood Studios has quite a history. Like you and I are like vintage gamers in the sense that we understand, we remember the stuff that like we saw coming up with the day going, man, I want to do that, or man, I want to be about that. And you were about that. Okay. All right, DG. Blow away your insecurity. Just iterate, man. Okay. So these need to be smaller, scaled down to maybe here, and thinner because I'm not going to have as much room. So we're going to go ahead and grab this and we're going to slide it over. Okay. And if that works, then I'll clone this one again. And now that I know how to clone it, it'll look better. So, oh, I know what's missing. Oh, all right. So that goes almost to the midsection. So down here, and then we're going to take this, we're going to take these vertices and we're going to drag them down, or at least just this one. Yep. Okay, so we're going to get rid of you. Don't want you anymore. And we're going to reclone you because we do want you. And we're going to move you over, do a Y mirror, and then set you up over here-ish, sorta, kinda. Yeah. Oh, I know. Hold on. Yeah, actually. Yeah. So I think a lot of us do, or at least people that understand what their skill sets are want to use them. But I guess we just like get afraid or just stop being able to do what we need to do. I'm trying to make that something which does not happen this year. Okay, so let's go ahead and extend these, and now we should be able to bring them out to about here. And this will be something that I do. And now I think we're actually okay. Yeah, so I think we're good. I'm not worried about these pieces. This is not going to stay up in the air. This is actually going to be recessed into the ground. And we're going to take these pieces and we're going to duplicate them. So plane 1 front, and we're going to call this one plane 2 front. And then we're going to take both of these and duplicate them. And take them and slide them to the back. Oh, excuse me. I need you and you. There we go. Now we can slide you back. Yeah, you're donating your time and your skills to make something really cool happen. Okay, so believe it or not, I'm already on my way. I need to add the rest of them, and I think this is good because the rest of it's going to come. The offshoots for these are going to come kind of shooting out of this piece. But let me go ahead and save this before I continue. That way I have it. Make a new folder and call this um, Sun Tracks Arch. Sun Tracks Arch dot blend. Sun Tracks Arch dot blend. There we go. All right. So that's one thing, and that's going on well so far. I'll put the screen away for now just so we can take a look at our surroundings real quick. We do have some traffic in the area. Nothing that's crossed my direct line of travel. Otherwise, I think I would have heard a tone or an alert. But we've got some multiplayer flights, and this is a real world flight that's time delayed, which is cool. But yeah, one of the things I don't want to take for granted this year, CCA, is that I want to do things and I don't want to keep putting them off. I want to make sure I spend the appropriate time doing what's necessary to make meaningful things happen this year, Yahweh permitting. I wonder if the rest of my icing came off at this point. Yeah, look at that. I mean, we're flying further south. It's still cold up here at 41,000 feet, but it was a while since we got out of Wyoming. Matter of fact, where am I? Let me take a look at the map. Navigraph Charts says we're coming into Albuquerque Center. If I take a look at the world map, we are almost out of Colorado, and we're going to be going into the area between New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. So we're coming back into the plains in a plane, but so far so good. Chat, thanks for hanging out, and thank you to all of my lurkers today. Just to catch up with you all, my name is DIGI Driver. I'm a flight sim enthusiast. I try to create airports for Microsoft Flight Simulator. One day I want to create them for X-Plane, and I am in the process of flying from Jackson Hole, an airport in Jackson, Wyoming, to Dallas Fort Worth International in Texas. The airport is situated between the cities of Dallas and Fort Worth. It's a really big airport, and I am flying in a big airplane, in the 787-800. Oh, well, there we go. Nice. Preservation programs. The idea is quite commendable. Okay. I'm probably going to continue working on that project in Blender. I know we've been cruising for a while, and it looks like we have been flying now for about the past, I want to say, yeah, literally, hour and 2 minutes, probably like 52, 55 minutes or something like that. Let me take a look at where we are on the map. Yeah, wow. We are a little bit over halfway through with the flight. I'm probably going to make maybe one or two more tweaks to that project I'm working on, and then get ready for our arrival into Dallas Fort Worth. And does it show me how long I have till top of drop? Let's see. Progress. Top of drop is 257 nautical miles. It's 2204 Zulu at the moment, and we are going to be at top of drop at 2236 Zulu. Is that correct? 24 is 8 o'clock, so that's technically 6 o'clock. The clock's a little bit ahead, but we're more or less reasonable. I don't officially know how to fly it. I could not climb into the cockpit of a real 737, 757, or 787 and, you know, fire it up all by myself and take off. I mean, in theory, I could. It's not impossible as long as you understand some essential concepts. The problem isn't that I wouldn't be able to start it up. I probably could if I really figured out every option. And I know how to do it in the sim, but in many places, the sim simplifies the startup process with the startup parameters. Um, the problem is number one, starting the plane up correctly without breaking it. And then, of course, flying the plane safely and correctly. I can do probably between 55 to 70% of the stuff required to operate the aircraft, but there are so many things you want to keep in mind. The tolerances of the aircraft, whether or not you can start the engines one way versus another, making sure the aircraft's pressurized, making sure the flight plan's fully punched in the way it's supposed to, or if you have to do it by yourself, making sure the calculations for zero fuel weight and takeoff weight are correct. So, in a sense of, can I keep this thing flying or can I keep it afloat? I probably could. Can I take off all by myself? Not even pros fly these kinds of planes by themselves. It's usually a team of pilot, first officer, and crew. So the captain and the first officer together take the process of flying the plane and split it to two people. So, you can back each other up and you can confirm each other's decisions, but you're both also going to potentially be doing different things, or at least doing different things at different times. uh, well, I'm not going to lie, I'd be highly tempted to. Like I've said to other folks before, I think the problem is that the stress of the moment and the tension of having to make some very, very important life preserving decisions, that would make the process very high stakes. Would I be able to fly the plane if for some crazy reason the pilot walks out of the cabin, walks up to me and says, "Hey kid, come here, I got a job for you." and and the air marshal walks me up into the cabin, locks the door behind me with the pilot and the first officer, and the pilot says, "Sit in my seat and land the plane. I'll walk you through the whole process." And I say, "Excuse me, are you ill?" Now, true story, I actually had a pilot have me sit in the captain's seat of a A321 just to see what it was like uh, when they were on the ground after we flew the flight into Florida 1 year on vacation. And I talked to both the captain and the first officer for a good long time. Mrs. Digi got a picture of me sitting in the captain's seat. Highlight of my vacation traveling history for the past like 5 years. It was incredible. It was incredible. I don't think I mind flying a plane like that for fun, just to say that I did. Um, the legal mumbo jumbo that I'd be sailing through or swimming in if that was actually something that a pilot asked me to do with a clear lack of, say, a private pilot's license or the comprehensive life preserving skills required, that would be a bad look for the pilot, the airline, etc., etc. Would it be cool? Would it be fun to do? Oh, you better believe it. I would raise my hand in an emergency. Whether or not I'd be a viable choice is an entirely different scenario. However, I will accept your vote of confidence based on one parameter. I have familiarity. I understand that when I look at panels like this, and systems like this and that, airplanes have a similar language. You're going to usually find things for maintaining autopilot control in this area. You're usually going to see important things or statistics about the airplane in this area. You're usually going to be able to manipulate the go juice and the thrust in this area along with the flaps and the parking brake, or the parking brake will be here. And of course, your yokes, or in the Airbus, you'll have the flight stick on either side. So there's things about aircraft that I've come to understand. Flying the 737, 747, 757, 67, 777, and 787. They have their stuff arranged in a certain way. Um, I've fake flown the Airbus A320, A319, the A320. Actually, I haven't flown the A321. Actually, no, I did, but it was a superb, supremely simplified version of the A321 back in the days of FSX. And there's certain things that the A321 or the A320 or A319 does that Boeing planes don't do, and vice versa. Do I think I'd enjoy the opportunity to fly a plane like that? Like on for fun. If like for example, there was a game show where the pilots had the passengers like swap places with them, and you know it was like clearly set up so that you actually could do that and fly the plane and land the plane, and there wasn't anything mentally affecting you. That would be incredible. I would like to do that. um, Obviously, environments like this, things can go wrong, systems can fail, problems can happen. So you also have to be prepared to be able to act quickly. And the problems that take airplanes down sometimes involve a lack of experience, a lot of indecision, a lot of missing muscle memory, and things that good instructors do for their students is put them in situations where when something happens, they don't even think. They just move towards react and recover state as quickly as possible. So for example, if you were flying a airliner or a general aviation aircraft, or a business jet, and on takeoff you lost an engine, you would immediately move into single engine operations. Whereas if you never experienced engine loss on takeoff and you suddenly saw one of your engines go down and the airplane kind of yawed to one side, you're like, huh, what do I do now? And like you'd like jam the throttle forward and backward several times and potentially seal your fate. But these are the things that pilots train for. These are the things that pilots are prepared for. I would say over 90% of the time, the way I fly in flight sim is not just the lazy way, it's the happy way. I don't fly with random failures. I don't fly with the possibility that something could go drastically wrong in the first part or the second part or the last part of the flight, where all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we just had partial hydraulic failure and now part of my flight surfaces don't work. What am I going to do? Or something to the effect of, whoa, like I just lost one engine on takeoff, or I lost both engines on descent. What do I do? And this is the kind of stuff that they train for, to the extent that if you go on vacation, there's usually, unless it's going to happen, a very high probability that you're not going to run into a situation where the flight attendants have you brace for impact. Because I think some of the problems that happen on most flights are handled either very quickly by the pilot and the first officer, or they're of the variety that they've trained for and prepared for and can get you to the ground really fast, really efficiently, really safely. MSEP, bonsoir. Welcome aboard, my friend. Happy to have you with us. Happy New Year to you. Hope you're doing very well. MSEP, another friend of the channel and somebody that actually has streamed in the past and might stream again, but great friend. Thank you and welcome aboard, buddy. We are flying in the Kuro 787-800 from Jackson, Wyoming to Dallas Fort Worth today. We've been flying now for probably about an hour, 20 minutes, and we're going to be descending actually relatively shortly. Um, this plane was crazy iced up on the way out of Jackson, but now we're doing much better. We should squarely be in Texas by now. We did spend time in Disney, that's right. Now, I unfortunately did not go on the Ratatouille experience, but I will tell you what I enjoyed. I enjoyed going to Epcot and going on Spaceship Earth. I went on the Living with the Land kind of boat ride thing where you go through a greenhouse. I went on Soarin' around the world. I walked around the World Showcase probably several times. I went on a few rides in Magic Kingdom, including Tron Light Cycle Ride. I did not do Guardians. The stories I heard about Guardians, people had their basically people came out like really affected by the ride, and I'm not into those kinds of rides. I like roller coasters, but when we're talking about ride experiences where your body's in one place and your brain is looking at something else, that's not the kind of stuff that I like to do. But I did, like I said, I did go on Tron Light Cycle Ride. I'm trying to think of what other rides I went on. Oh, I went on Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom. What did I think of Tron? Tron is unbelievable. Tron was like the 787 of roller coaster rides. It was engineered to be an amazing experience. It was great, absolutely superb. Um, Practically perfect, really. It was just short. Oh, well, in one sense, for me, I felt like it looked longer than it was, but it was fun. It was very enjoyable. I would have ridden on it again and again and again if I had the opportunity. So I'm glad I went on it. These days, I go to Disney and I enjoy the food a lot. Um, Dining at the restaurants, enjoying time with family, being in the room that we stay in, and taking each day as it comes. The hidden indoor part is cool. Yes, yes, I think it's great personally. Oh, of course, when I was in Hollywood Studios, I also went on Smuggler's Run and Galaxy's Edge, where you pilot the Millennium Falcon. And I also went on Star Tours. And I also went to the Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith before that got updated to something. They're going to remake it into some kind of roller coaster ride featuring the Muppets. I don't know what that is yet. I just know it's going to happen at some point in the not too distant future. So that's going to happen then. And I'm trying to remember if I went on any other roller coasters while I was down there, but I don't remember. I know that they were renovating Test Track in Epcot, so I wasn't able to ride that. Otherwise, I would have. And there were, I think, one or two other rides I wanted to ride on, but were down or had intermittent issues, so I couldn't actually experience them. Rock and Roller Muppets, I guess that's the name of it. Yeah. I mean, personally, I would have preferred they kept Aerosmith even longer, but I mean, that's their choice. So, up to them, I guess. And I'm not in charge of making money for Disney, so whatever. Ooh, that is one thing I did not do. I did not experience Avatar Land at night, and many people said that it looks wonderful. However, the interesting thing that happened to me was on the way out of Animal Kingdom. Oh, and I also went on the safari at Animal Kingdom. It was wonderful. I saw so many animals. When we were exiting the park, there was this kind of like flight of fantasy where they had a bunch of macaws or colorful birds come in. And the cool thing is, they literally fly in over your head and land. I got like a picture of one or two of them, and I put them in my chat in my Discord. So I shared some of the pictures of the trip, but the birds were wonderful. And then, yeah, I pretty much went to every park except the water parks. The one water park was closed, and the other one was open for like only a certain part of each day. But I got to eat all over the place. I went to Cape May Cafe, which is like buffet style dining, but it has great food. I went to this place called the Edison, where the food was great and it was kind of like a steampunk atmosphere. Oh, that's great. That's great. I hope you enjoy yourself. I know I did. I know I did. I ate in multiple spots in the parks, but by far, I think the best upscale experience I had eating at the park was at a place called Steakhouse 71. If you're familiar with Magic Kingdom and the Contemporary Hotel, then there's a place where they serve, they have a restaurant in the Contemporary Hotel. The restaurant used to be called The Wave on the first floor. And The Wave was there for a while. Then they closed The Wave, and then they reopened as something called Steakhouse 71. And it's not cheap, but the way they handle steak is unbelievable. I had, I think I had like a 6 or 8 ounce, uh, I think it was like a tenderloin or a flank steak. And when they brought it out, I was like, wait a minute, this thing looks so small. I'm going to eat it and still be hungry. No, they prepared it perfectly. And it was so dense. It was like it was like the equivalent of kind of like the sweetened condensed milk that you might get if you've eaten it in the States. Essentially, the steak ate like something twice its weight. It was so dense, so packed with flavor. My taste buds stayed busy pretty much for hours, or at least for that hour. Oh, yes. I also went to Ohana as well. Ohana is a place that we like going to on a regular basis. Ohana is Ohana is a themed restaurant. They don't have like characters there, but it's basically island themed, Polynesian to the nines. They have grilled chicken, steak. They make like seafood and stuff like that. They have I think like noodles. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and it was a great dining experience. I remember many years ago going to a luau that they had somewhere by the lake, and it was kind of like an interesting experience and stuff like that. But Ohana tops that handily. It was great. That's right. That's right. They have a tower for them. So like they have Bay Lake Tower, which is a Disney Vacation Club property, in by the Contemporary Resort. So yeah, I've heard of Disney Vacation Club, and they they have people that can like give you tours or talk to you about like the facilities and stuff like that. So it's a great way, personally, in my opinion, to experience the vacation. I know there's one place in Universal that I'd like to visit the next time I go, which is obviously Super Mario World or Mario Land or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, yeah, I think Universal is giving them enough of a run for their money, and it's not like it's not like Universal, it's not like Universal, kind of just showed up. They've been there for a while, but I guess the Disney, the allure of Disney has been enough to defeat most people from wanting to go any other place. I think the problem happens once there start being legitimate challenges to Disney's reign. That's what's going to affect their prices. Wow. Wow, that's nuts. See, the last time I went to Universal was many years ago. I want to say it was like 2011. And I mean, there was like Islands of Adventure, and there were a few rides that I went on, and it was great. But like for me, that was it, and I was done. But I think they've built up enough IP now where, like you said, it's going to take longer for you to actually go through all those lands. Oh wow, okay. I'm vaguely familiar with Rip Ride Rocket, but if they're tearing something down to make room for something new, then rock on. I I agree with you, Upset. I think them becoming a legitimate property is gonna make Disney want to do stuff. And Disney's been trying, but some of the things Disney has done, in my opinion, could have probably been done better. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Um, Unfortunately, they've opened and closed a few things within a somewhat short period of time, and companies don't have infinite stores of money. And even if they're valued highly, and even if their CEOs are paid a lot, it's always possible that you might run into fiscal trouble if you're not careful. But I, for one, can still find parts of the Disney experience that make me appreciate going there when I get the opportunity to do so on a regular basis. Yeah, yeah. I think I I can't say this with any level of confidence, but I also know that Disney still has enough real estate at its disposal that it can probably fill in massive gaps there with new properties or new opportunities. And I think they may have to start either digging into their content per se, or they may have to start thinking up brand new ideas to start competing with the other other resort experiences that are going to be out there like Universal. I mean, don't forget you still have SeaWorld, and you also still have Busch Gardens. So those two have been there for a while, unless Busch Gardens isn't anymore. But yeah, legitimate competition is going to make them wake up. Right. You're talking about the train that can go from like um, Orlando International Airport straight to Disney. Because I know they used to have Disney's Magical Express as a bus that would take you from the airport to the property. But then they discontinued that bus line, but they have a relationship with Mears, which allows you to still get the bus service from the airport to the park. Um, if it was me, I would have probably done everything I could to maintain that connection. You want your brand name on as much stuff as possible at as high level of quantity as possible to evoke an experience. It's in one sense, it's kind of like what would happen if you bought um, a Porsche or an Audi or a Land Rover, and you had your car serviced at a facility, or you did things with your vehicle where you had touch points with the company. It's the company's kind of like responsibility to keep evoking that level of respect, of courtesy, of luxury that their brand is supposed to evoke. So if you have that, if you do that, then you're good. If you don't do that and you give your competition opportunities to move in, it's going to be harder for you to reestablish yourself. There we go. There we go. And this is one of those scenarios where it's like, hey, thanks for turning down the project that's going to make us even more money. See ya. And then, somebody else steps up. I mean, we have that kind of stuff happen in in other industries too. But I mean, we're kind of harping on this for a reason. Folks, when they go on vacation, they want to have an experience, and I can see how I can see how it's going to be not impossible, just it's going to be challenging for them to continue. With that, we are descending. All right. Sweet. We have left 41,000 feet chat, and we are on our way down to Dallas Fort Worth. Earlier, I said that I was going to get back to doing some scenery development, but I think I might actually chop it off for tonight and probably continue offline. I'm glad that I actually kicked off that project, but I'll probably keep in touch with you guys with regards to work on Discord. My favorite Disney resort. That's good. Uh, if I had to pick one overall for all the things that I liked about it, I would probably say Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs is it's kind of like nice and quiet. Well, not totally quiet. It's got a lot of the stuff that usually comes with resort areas. Areas for like with a pool, an area for you to dine in, shops. Saratoga Springs has a spa, and Saratoga Springs is pretty close to Disney Springs, which is their main shopping hub. Disney Springs is what they used to call downtown Disney, and it has the Disney Store, which is basically, I think, the largest store with Disney goods in the world. If you can't find what you're looking for in a Disney store, there's a pretty good chance it's because it doesn't exist. Now, I will say, as a concept, Animal Kingdom Lodge is beautiful. The hotel rooms are very nice, and if you get one that looks out into their kind of like safari area, you can see animals. And they're supposed to have a good restaurant for, uh, I think for all like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the Polynesian resort is it's cutesy to me in the sense of it definitely hitting the Polynesian Hawaiian vibe, and Ohana, of course, is basically an amazing place to eat food, hands down. And it's not that far away from Magic Kingdom. Now, I used to say if you were going to stay at somewhere and you wanted to be luxurious, I used to say you could stay at the Grand Floridian Resort. I don't think that's the case anymore. If you want upper crust experience, I think you need to go stay at the Riviera. Oh, Explorers Hotel. Interesting. You worked there? That's kind of cool. Wow. And I wasn't there in 2007. I was there in 2017, but not that time. But that's pretty dope. That's actually cool. And you're making a point. USD per night, all inclusive. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there are Disney properties, you know, in the world too. Uh, uh, Disneyland Paris, Tokyo Disney, Hong Kong Disney. So I don't know. If money was no object, would I go check those places out? I think I'd probably be tempted to check out Tokyo Disney because I'd bucket list to Japan. I'd go check out Tokyo Disney. I'd go check out Tokyo. I'd check out Sendai, um, Osaka, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Fukuoka. I would probably fly to the northern island as well, and whatchamacallit, get get a chance to really experience that place. I think I would. Oh, the original Tron ride. Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. All right, let me double check myself for arrival since we're coming in really fast, faster than I expected into DFW. I would say we're probably going to be there in another like 35, 45 minutes. And we're landing 3-6 left. We're taking the Jovem 6 arrival into fuel, and then we're going to take vectors from fuel to all in. But since we're not on VATSIM, I'm going to probably eliminate the discrepancy or take away the vectors between fuel and all in. And now we should have a much faster arrival in. At least I think so. The blue line is the missed approach thing that happens if you actually miss or can't touch down. That is one ride that I slightly regret not going on. Pirates of the Caribbean is something that I enjoy going on. And the Haunted Mansion ride is a great ride to go on if you are beating the Florida heat. The interesting thing about the Disney World Magic Kingdom experience is that the rides are largely indoor rides or covered rides that are good to go to if you are dealing with Florida weather. And Florida weather in summer is like hot, hot, hot rain, hot, hot night. And in a thunderstorm or otherwise, you can go check out a lot of rides that are indoors. That's cool. Um, I didn't know they were building a Villain's Land. And to be honest, I would be interested to learn more about how the other half lives and really get the inside scoop on people like Gaston or uh, other baddies like Scar and learn their story and really learn their story. um, there's like viral videos on TikTok of, for example, people proposing at Magic Kingdom, and then like the Cinderella stepsisters, they go nuts. They're like, "Oh, look at that! He just like it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on?" They're like, "Let me see the ring," and they're in character. The cool part about Disney characters is that they're so well trained in that they're not going to break character, and they're just going to go right along with what you're doing. And that's great in the sense that you actually get that experience. Oh wow, that's great. That's interesting. Music is something which kind of fascinates me as well, and I'd be interested to kind of get more into it given the appropriate time. Let me take a look at current weather at DFW while we keep descending. Let's go to airports, weather, and look up DFW. Excuse me. Weather right now, winds are variable at 4. Visibility is 10 statute miles. It looks more like cavalcade. And clouds are few at 250. Temperature's 10, and the altimeter is 3029ers. We got some high pressure. It's not bad. It's looking good, and we're almost to the victory waypoint. I would say we have like about 25 minutes and then we're on the ground. Stand by, check, just need to go turn something off. I haven't seen Portillo's, but I would also be curious to spend a little bit more time outside the resort because I usually stay on the premises, like, in a resort hotel. So there's really no point in me, renting a car since I go down there to go to Disney. But if Universal does its Epic Universe thing and I go to Disney and I stay on premise, then one thing I could do is potentially rent a car, go over to Universal and spend like a day or two there. And if Disney drops its prices, then theoretically I could stay on prem at Disney and then drive over to Universal and enjoy their stuff there too. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in today to catch the flight and a little bit of dev on stream. We were doing a little bit of dev during cruise, and we've been flying for literally about the past hour and a half plus out of Jackson Hole Airport in Jackson, Wyoming to Dallas Fort Worth. We're on descent right now. I started a project for an upcoming scenery release that I've been uh, hired to do, and I am in process of beginning already. It's been just a few weeks since we actually kicked the project off, and we've got a release coming up just before spring. So there's work to be done, but I also want to take it, reasonably, a step at a time, as best as we can. And so far, it's been fun. I'd like to keep it that way. We are about 30 some odd nautical miles from turning final, and we're still at 21,000 feet. I'm not sure why we're so far up, especially when the airport's literally, what, down here? Yeah, airport's right there. I'm not sure if we're supposed to be up this far. Let me take a look at the data. Yeah, 4,000 and above, 3,000 and above. All in, let me take a look at the ILS approach again. All in is 4,000. So we need to get from like 21,000 feet down to 4,000 feet and 30 nautical miles. I would say that's like 18,000 feet. We should already be descending right now. And I'm not sure why you're not dropping faster. I guess it's because we need to get to approach speed. I guess so. There we go. Did the arrival have any speed restrictions? Ooh, it did. We need to get to 210 knots before Siler. I see. And we need to be at 12,000 feet. That's where I think the sim is messed up. We need to be at 12,000 feet at Siler, I thought. Yeah, that needed to happen, and it didn't. So let's see. I have no clue whether or not we're going to make this naturally. Okay, so you're going to be going in October. Gotcha. Man, I'm not going to lie. I would have absolutely no problem doing over October, November, December, and getting to the point where the holiday season kicks off. No, I don't want to redo my crazy projects from work, but I I think I'd like that because for some people, winter is a problem because they don't like being indoors, or they don't like what am I trying to say? They don't like the experience of like not being able to go outside and be warm. For me, fall and winter is my spring and summer. And then spring and summer is like me being indoors because I don't like being very hot. So it's flipped for me. But such is life, you know? I don't get to pick. I don't get to pick the weather. So this is how it works. Yeah, Florida can get hot and sticky. Excuse me. But I know Florida can get hot. And the heat can just kind of come on out of nowhere. And I think parts of the parks that are macadamed aren't helping in that regard. Okay, let's see. How far up are we? All right, we're still like 16,000 feet above where we're supposed to be for the approach. So this is what we're gonna do. We're going to we're going to bug up. I'm gonna bug up to 178 and basically extend my downwind. I'm also going to get down to vertical speed at about 2,800 feet per minute, and I'm going to activate the boards. So we're going to go full idle, we're going to go boards out, and we're going to set the altimeter to what I believe was 3024 last time I checked. And we will hit the standard button and hit B again. It looks like it went to 3030, so that's fine. All right, so now I'm going to adjust my heading to make sure I hit that waypoint. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the METAR. Maybe I can make a command this year. I think I could probably give my commands. I think I can actually add more commands to my my chat this year, but let me at least find that for you. And da, 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 da. Here's your METAR. All right, so we're going out of our way, but only slightly. I want to make sure I get down to about 8,000, 6,000 feet, and then we're going to go ahead and turn back, turn to final for 36 left. We've arrived in the Dallas Fort Worth greater area, and we're going to turn around and come back to land 36 left at DFW, and basically call it at that point. Let me get myself set though. We're going to do auto brake, probably auto brake 3. Also, I'm noticing that my ECAS messages don't actually appear here for some weird reason. I, the recall button shows up, but there's no ECAS messages that appear. And normally I'd see an ECAS message that tells me what level of auto brake I'm flying. Okay, so give me a few seconds. I'm going to go ahead and pick flaps 25, and that should do. Okay, if we go missed, we'll follow the flight plan out to Kegel, and we'll be at 3,000 feet. And now I think I can get started turning around. Looks like it's raining over in Paris. All right, Chad, here we go. I'll get the speed down to 180, and I'll keep turning because I want to turn back to final. I kind of miss 2D panels in that you could actually manipulate the buttons and stuff no matter how turbulent it was. So I do kind of miss that. Okay, but now I should be good to turn back to final. Here we go, chat. Again, appreciate everybody that tuned in today for today's stream. After this, we're going to go ahead and park up at any reasonable nearby gate and then start thinking about future streams or flights. I will be free tomorrow as well before I go back in to work on Friday. And this weekend will probably be a little bit quiet, and then we'll basically be back to quote unquote normal. All right, so back to LNAV, VNAV. Actually, you know what? No. Let's get down to... Let's get down to 180. And let's do approach mode. If we can. Let's see, LNAV, VNAV. Did I mess something up? I know the airport should be in front of me. Yeah, I see them, and I see 36 left all the way over. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's start getting some flaps in. Flaps 1. And I'll start using VNAV. And flaps 5. We've got basically 15 nautical miles to the runway. Give me flaps 15, please. Winds are 329er at 2. All right, let's go ahead and do flaps 20. Gear down. And let's get the speed brakes armed. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brake is 4, I believe. And glide slope should be on.
2,500.
We're still at about 3,000 something feet. And the AI traffic may be departing to the east. I think. Laps 25. Okay, I think we're way ahead of the ILS approach needle. Bobbin is about maybe 5 nautical miles ahead after char, and then we'll be on the beam. I think there's a plane in front of us. I can't tell. There's one there. I think they're going to be going to 36 center. Or 36 right. But yeah, we're not descending yet. We are configured for arrival though. We've got auto brake 4, speed brakes armed, and I think I need to set my altimeter for my go around for 3,000 feet. Okay, here we go, chat. Welcome to Dallas. Looking decidedly non-snowy after our departure from Jackson Hole earlier today. The goal here is to get this bird landed safely. And as a matter of fact, I'll take advantage of the lull to look at the airport info. Okay, so assuming that we're going to be arriving at the Bravo gates on the left, then we could probably exit as early as Echo 5 or Echo 2. Whiskey Lima and Whiskey Kilo both dump us off at or near the Delta terminal. So if I go Whiskey Kilo to Golf, then I'll go up to Bravo. Okay, and we're not descending, so let's go ahead and disable any autopilot. We're way up as well, so let's go ahead and chop and drop. Technically speaking, there should already be a go around, but I'm gonna go ahead and do what I can. The runway is 13,400 feet. So, if the wind is coming from this angle, and I chop a little bit of right rudder, I can theoretically keep my speed down. And do a little forward slip action. And there we go. That's correct.
1,000.
Okay, and now we got auto throttle again. Fortunately, the wind is not that strong, so we were able to forward slip it down a bit. Clearly, like I said before, this should have been a go around right at that point. But
500.
I'm being a bit of a goofball. All right, let's stop the throttles.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Go ahead and continue.
50, 40, 30,
All right, idle.
20, 10.
All right, there we go. On the ground. Reverse green. Speed brakes up. Reverse is normal. Auto brake disarm. 60 knots. All right, welcome down, chat. Definitely an unorthodox landing into DFW, but we're down. And we are coming in. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU right now. And welcome down. Alright, this is Echo 3, but let's see whether or not this is actually Whiskey Kilo. Excuse me, this is Echo 2. Echo 2, and Echo 2 is going to dump me into Whiskey Kilo. Okay. That'll do. Wonderful. Alright, welcome down, chat. We made it. We may have company traffic on the runway. Oh no, it's United Flight, and they're also exiting. So I'm going to go ahead and cross. Alright. Hurry up, Dig. Don't make that AI-generated plane go around. Alright, good stuff. Looks like we're clear. Alright. Strobe lights can come off. And I think we're gonna go... Actually, yeah, we're gonna go this way. Alright. Brakes. Brakes. Full over. Alright, taxi lights on. Nose light can come off. And wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas Fort Worth. Local time is going to be 6:15 p.m. Actually, excuse me, 5:15 p.m. We're going to be dropping you off at the Bravo terminal. Make sure you take a look at the gate displays for any connecting flights you have. If DFW is your home airport, follow the signs to baggage claim. We hope you enjoyed your flight, and be careful on your drive home from the airport. This was fun. I kind of aircraft carriered the 787 down, but basically I'm assuming the landing rate was probably somewhere like the 280s, so I think the shocks sopped most of that up. Also, it's a pleasure to see that my fairly somewhat ancient model matching is providing a very nice experience at this airport. Now, let me think. Where should I go? I am assuming this is going to be where we go, because I see some vehicles waiting for me. Alright, let's get the taxi light off as well. And start tuning over. Don't see a ground marshaller, so we're just going to make the most of it. Ah, man. Happy to be on the ground, happy to be pulling this aircraft in for the evening. It's been great hanging out with all of you. Thank you so much. You literally have no idea how much your support means to me. It is a privilege hanging out with all of you today. Yes, I park with outside assistance. Judge me. All right, so we're parked up. We've got the APU running, and let's go ahead and set ourselves up. I would say we can go ahead and cut fuel flow. Flight attendants, doors to manual cross check. Stand by for all call. Let's go ahead and hook up to the terminal. And we will do power and jetway and kaboom. Wonderful. Power should be there. Let's go ahead and connect. And we'll get the APU disconnected, and we will go ahead and turn off the fuel pumps. Alright. Beacon light off. Nav and logo lights off. That's it. Welcome down, everybody. Welcome to Dallas Fort Worth International. We have arrived after literally just about, I think 2 hours and maybe like 10, 17, like maybe like 2 hours, 10 minutes of flight. Just a touch behind the clock, but not terribly. And this was wonderful. This is the bespoke version of Dallas Fort Worth. This is something that was, I believe, included the with the I want to say premium deluxe version. Although I don't know if this was premium or just a basic airport. I'm assuming this was premium deluxe. I could be wrong. Happy to be on the ground and happy to be free of a lot of the icing that we had when we left Jackson earlier, which is crazy. Don't mind me, chat. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. And yes, I don't care that there's other labels in the picture as well. I'll save that one for the scrapbook. Definitely a great experience today. There's plenty that I forgot to do, of course, but I'll take all that as it comes. Okay, so chat, that's going to do it for me for today. I think the next thing I'm going to do is probably go back to a quiet stream schedule. And I'm thinking about and debating on doing deep quiet scenery dev. And I know I've done quiet scenery dev before, where I've kind of kept the chat visible and checked on it from time to time and, chat with people as they came in. I think at least January, I'm going to experiment with deep quiet and kind of treat it like a Pomodoro timer, check like every 20, 25 minutes or something like that, but basically just be zoomed into what I'm doing. I will probably put details up in Discord chat and in announcements and stuff like that. But the plan is to probably try and create an environment where I do scenery dev in deep, quiet conditions, focus on getting a few things knocked out every time I stream. So, in a sense, it's kind of like, and if you're part of my analogy, if you go to Disney and you watch people create food or create candy or do stuff, where you can watch them do stuff, but interactivity is kept to a minimum. It's not because I don't want to talk to chat. It's just because I think I want to really encourage just more output. And it's a really easy way to say, well, Digi has to get more done. Bruh. Like, no. I want to do things in such a way where it's both easier for me to concentrate and I can have breaks in the action to check in, to say hi, to talk about the project that I'm working on, and then to do something like that in stream. Now, that's also going to go hand in hand with the idea of creating maybe additional commands or creating additional notifications or alerts on stream so that you guys can see when I am in deep focus mode and when I'm kind of just reviewing things, talking to chat, hanging out with you all. Or I might do what I usually do, which is just do no audio dev streams for like 35 minutes to an hour each night, just to say that I've done that, and then basically not do deep focus for those 30 to 35 minutes. So I do talk to chat, and then the rest of the time that I'm doing scenery dev every night, it's just off stream. No need to, devote energy or split energy in ways that I shouldn't be, and I can get stuff done. So that's all a work in progress. All that said, I'm going to be focusing on more scenery dev. I've got the projects coming up that need to get done. I've got 2020 projects that I'm probably going to enjoy working on. 2024 projects will probably start filtering in more, especially as things improve with the sim as a whole. And we'll see what happens. But I am very happy to be here at Dallas Fort Worth, enjoying some beautiful views, especially as we see some AI aircraft come in for a landing. Boom, that's a three wire right there. All right. So we made it. We took about 2 hours to get here from Wyoming, which is really good in my book. And I'm happy. I'm also happy that I'm seeing lots of model matched aircraft that kind of makes sense for this area. And happy that my first flight of 2025 was successful. So, folks, have a great rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If I don't catch you the rest of this evening, have a great and prosperous new year. I will be around the Twitchverse, and Lord willing, I will be seeing you in one of many possible channels that are out there. Stay tuned to my Discord for updates. I'm probably going to be doing another stream, at least one more stream this week. Whether it's tomorrow or Friday night, I don't know. And that plane's in a hurry. But all the same, I think I am most likely going to be focusing way more heavily on things like scenery development and raising the brand and doing things like creating content in areas like YouTube. So stay tuned for more of that. And again, appreciate your support. If all you did was lurk today, thank you for lurking. If you were one of those people that said hi, appreciate you. Appreciate my friends, Kev Mikwa, Nick Gressla, Coffee Cup Arcade, Studio Canuck, MSEP004, Flying with Mike for the raid. Thank you so much. And thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. And by God's grace, I will be seeing you around. Again, if I don't stream tomorrow, probably expect a really just chill and relax fun stream. If I do a fun stream on Friday night, I might jump back into Truck Sim, or I might do some fun flights in FS 2024. I have not done career mode yet, or at least I started, but I did not actually focus on doing a lot of stuff with career mode. And I think that's given, hopefully, that the passage of time will have allowed Asobo and Microsoft to address what I heard were standing issues with the career mode. So we'll see what happens. Nick, thanks so much, my friend. Have a great night. Everybody have a great night. Take care. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace. And that's Jesus Christ. Thank you, my friends. Have a great night. Happy New Year. Enjoy yourselves. And I hope that the rest of your evening is superb. Until next time, we'll see ya.